The Election Commission is carrying out a special intensive revision of electoral roll in Bihar, an exercise that has raised concerns and questions about the process, timing and documentation. While the Supreme Court has allowed the revision to continue, it has advised the Election Commission to consider accepting Aadhaar, voter ID and ration cards for updating records. Well, at the center is the new requirements made by the EC. Voters enrolled after 2003 must now submit documents to establish their date or place of birth. But why was this step introduced? How do such revision work? Let's decode. Start with the basics. India's electoral roll are not static. The Election Commission of India or ECI regularly updates them to reflect demographic changes. There are three types of revisions. Summary revision. This is an annual exercise in which the existing list is published in draft form and citizens can request addition, deletions or corrections. Intensive revision. This is a full ground-up exercise in which officials go door to door and prepare new lists from scratch without relying on previous data. Special revision. Used in exceptional situations, this type of revision can be summary, intensive or a combination of both depending on what the EC deems necessary. Now, the exercise that is currently underway in Bihar is officially called Special Intensive Revision or SIR. The term itself tells us something important. The Commission is invoking Section 21 Subclause 3 of the Representation of the People Act 1950, which allows it to revise rolls in such manner as it thinks fit. So why this exercise and why now? The ECI says it's responding to massive changes in the voter base over the past 2 decades. Urbanization, migration for jobs and education, people enrolling in new cities without removing their names from earlier constituencies. All of this has led to duplicate entries and gaps. Add to this political pressure. Parties, including top leaders like Rahul Gandhi, who alleged manipulation in Maharashtra's electoral roll. EC cited these factors behind the renewed push to clean up and standardize the electoral rolls. Furthermore, efforts are being made to ensure that names of all eligible citizens are included in the electoral roll. But this brings up another crucial question. How did non-citizens find their way onto India's electoral rolls in the first place? The answer lies in Form 6, the standard form issued by the Election Commission for enrolling new voters, intended for Indian citizens aged 18 and above residing in a particular area. But the problem is that Form 6 does not require applicants to declare their citizenship. A self-declaration along with documents establishing age and residence is considered sufficient. This gap has attracted criticism, especially now as Election Commission undertakes a SIR, that is Special Intensive Revision, in Bihar. The provision of Form 6 are outlined in the Registration of Electors Rule 1960, and while they served their purpose during the regular summary revision over the years, they may have allowed many doubtful entries to slip through. Bihar is just the starting point. The real plan is nationwide. This is the first large-scale verification drive in over 20 years. Bihar was picked first because elections are due there soon, and the state's voter data has seen particularly high variability. But this revision haven't gone smoothly. This time, the ECI has added a new requirement. Even voters already on the list, if enrolled after 2003, must now show proof of their date and place of birth. That's a big shift, because earlier, if your name was already there, it was presumed valid, unless someone formally objected. This time, EC excluded Aadhaar, Ration and Manrega cards from valid proof, citing concerns that illegal immigrants, especially from Bangladesh, may have obtained these documents. Aadhaar-based documents are seen as vulnerable to misuse, and suspected foreigners flagged by officials can be referred under Citizenship Act. But the Supreme Court has stepped in, not to stop the revision but to advise the ECI to be flexible and accept Aadhaar, voter ID or ration card as valid documents. Furthermore, the court also flagged three key issues for the Commission: citizenship, due process and timing of the revision. This isn't the first time India has grappled with problems in electoral rolls. In 1951-52, the first ever Lok Sabha election, the rolls were messy. There were huge gaps and inaccuracies. Many women didn't give their names and only identified themselves as wife of or daughter of. Later, in the 1950s and 60s, revisions happened in phases. 1/5 of each state was revised yearly from 1952 to 1956. Then 1/3 from 1957 to 1961. At that time, urban areas got special focus due to higher mobility. In the 1980s, a new concern emerged: foreign nationals in the voter list, especially in border states like those in the northeast. Chief ministers complained. The ECI responded with stricter safeguards and made it clear: once a name is in the roll, it cannot be deleted randomly. Objections must follow due process. Then in the 1993, we saw the introduction of the electors' photo identity cards. Intensive revisions helped with the rollouts, but interestingly, that wasn't the reason for the revision. The ID was just an additional benefit. Over time, as the system matured, the ECI shifted to summary revisions by default, as they were cheaper, quicker and easier to run. But accuracy becomes a major concern. Like now, the ECI returns to intensive methods. In the end, electoral rolls are not just list of names. They are a reflection of the very foundation of democracy, that is, the right to vote. The Election Commission's job is delicate: to ensure accuracy without excluding legitimate voters, to prevent fraud without creating fear. But current movement, especially in Bihar, is a test not just of the Commission's process, but of its balance between vigilance and inclusion. Because at the stake ultimately is the confidence of the voter and the credibility of the vote.